What's up, guys? This is Justin from the Tree of Woe Show, and this is Q&A number 29. Now, I know every time I do one of these, we get like 3 out of the way, and I'm like, we're going to do these every week. Keep the questions coming. And you keep the questions coming, and then I totally space it off for a month. So, I'm going to say it again. I may be lying. We're going to try to do these weekly. But this is number 29. Let's jump right into these. 1, 2, 3 questions from Big L, the best MC. What do you think the crowd of Money in the Bank 2011 would have done if Punk tapped? Well, probably what their sign said. We probably would have seen a riot in Chicago, Illinois. Well, I guess it's technically not in Chicago, Illinois, but whatever, Rosemont Arena or whatever it's called. But it probably would have been bad. I mean, for the sake of everyone, I'm just going to say I'm glad we don't have to find out, and we didn't find out. For the safety and well-being of everyone, I'm glad we don't have to find out. What do you think of WWE 13 being set in the Attitude Era? I think it's genius because when you listen to wrestling fans talk, they always go back to the Attitude Era. So I think with this one being set in the Attitude Era, you're going to get the people that buy the games anyways, because they buy the games anyways. But it might bring in a new audience. It's like, oh, I only like the Attitude Era, so maybe it'll bring in some other buys. I think it's smart. Why not? I mean, I loved the Attitude Era. A lot of people loved the Attitude Era. I see nothing wrong with it. There's actually 4 questions from Big L, the best MC. My bad. But I'm looking forward to it. I'm excited for it. I mean, I don't know how exactly it's going to go about, but I'm excited for it. What do you think the Undertaker's plans are for Survivor Series? You see, I don't know. I really don't know. I mean, they acted like that was going to be his big return, but then he came back on the 1000th Raw. So are they still planning for Survivor Series, or are they going to aim for Mania, even though it's some FCW event? He acted like he wasn't going to be at WrestleMania. I don't know what's going on, but I would love. Now, this is just me. But I would love to see Undertaker versus Wade Barrett at Survivor Series if he's going to be at Survivor Series. That's just me. But that's what it is. And last one, do you think Ariana Grande is hot? Google her if you don't know her. I will, because I'll be honest. I could try to be, big tough guy, like, yeah, I love her. I know everything about everything. But this is why we were given Google. Ariana, whoops. How do you spell it? Okay. Is she like an actress? What is it? Actress, singer, dancer. She looks good to me. Let's see. Yeah. I would say yes. I'm liking this girl. Don't know who she is, but I'm down with this girl now. Moving on. Joshua Smith. Now that Dolph Ziggler is Mr. Money in the Bank, do you think he will finally win the world title, or who'll be the first person to cash in and lose? I'm very glad that I have the ability to answer this right now and not back when you wrote this, because Cena obviously has already cashed in and lost. He technically won the match, but he didn't get the title. But that's what I was worried about. The Raw 1000, I was hoping for John Cena to lose, not because, I hate John Cena, whatever, but more so like, okay, if he cashes in and wins, there's a lot more likelihood that Dolph Ziggler will cash in and lose, which I do not want to see. But since Cena already lost it, it's highly unlikely that they're going to have both Money in the Bank winners lose their, contract or whatever, because that kind of defeats the purpose to where next year it's like, well, why would we want to win this? It's not like, because the whole point is like it's a guarantee. So if you have both of them win, it's like, well. So I think he will be world champion whenever the hell they can figure out a way for Sheamus to stay down for longer than 6 seconds. So, but I look forward to that day. It will be a joyous occasion for me. Big Ben 2493. What deal should the Magic do to get rid of Dwight Howard if you were the GM? See, this is a tough one because they have a bunch out there. The Rockets were in it for a while. The Lakers, the Nets. Nets, you get Brooke Lopez, whatever. you get a bunch of like, you know what I mean? The Rockets, you get obviously they had the 3 draft picks in the first round. You get those 3, and you get everything else that's thrown into it, whatever. But Andrew Bynum was a part of the deal for the Lakers, and when that dude's head is right, he is the second best center in the league. So really, if you're gonna trade a guy like Dwight Howard, I used to love Dwight Howard, but this whole thing has really pissed me off. Like, people got mad at LeBron for what he did. Dwight Howard, in my opinion, Dwight Howard, what he's doing is way worse than LeBron. Sure, LeBron went on TV. I'm going to Miami. Cleveland's like, oh, boo-hoo. But think about it. Dwight Howard, I'm opting out. They're like, okay, well, let's trade you. I don't want to go here, 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 here. I only want to go to Brooklyn. So the Magic are like, that's stupid because now we don't have any, like, one of the biggest trade chips of all time all of a sudden gets brought down because every other team knows he wants to go to Brooklyn, so they're not going to give up as much as they should or would normally. And then all of a sudden he's like, I'm going to resign or I'm going to opt in, so I'm not a free agent until next year. So he opts in. All the Magic are okay, sweet. All of a sudden he gets Stan Van Gundy fired. Oh, he did. And then all of a sudden now, well, I'm actually going to opt out. I was just kidding about opting in. It's stupid. But I would trade him to the Lakers and if I was the GM, I would get Andrew Bynum and Meta World Peace and build around that because if you're going to trade the best center in the league, why not get the second best center? Like if I had to trade LeBron James, why not get Kevin Durant? You know what I mean? That's my logic. So that's what I would do. Heel Wolverine, another basketball question. I'm cool with that. How do you feel about Ray Allen joining the Heat? I mean, I live in Miami and I see the Heat play all the time. They already got Jones, Miller, Batty, and even Chalmers shooting threes. Isn't Allen a little too much? Well, you can never have too many threes raining from the sky. I don't know if they had signed Rashard Lewis when you asked this. It was a long time ago. But add Rashard Lewis to that list. LeBron can hit some threes when he wants to. We saw Bosh hitting threes in the finals and Eastern Conference finals. So, I mean, we don't have enough time for me to go into how excited I am about this, but I don't think it's a little too much. I think it's going to help Dwayne Wade coming off surgery on the offseason. He's not going to have to play as many minutes because they have Ray Allen to, funnel in with him. If Wade needs some rest, it's like, all right, Wade, get out. We'll put in the best three-point shooter of all time. Most made. I know Reggie Miller guys. I know. I'm just going by stats. But I cannot wait to just see some of the lineups they can throw out there with Chalmers, Wade, LeBron, Bosh. Who did I just say? My ideal lineup is these 5 guys playing wherever. Wade, Allen, LeBron, Bosh, Rashard Lewis. Put those dudes in, and then all of a sudden you have Chalmers subbing in. You got Haslam subbing in. You got Miller, James Jones, Battier, Mike Miller. Oh, I already said it. But so I'm so excited. Brad Tradick, what is your favorite movie of all time that you can watch over and over again and never get tired of it? Ooh. Well, I've seen The Dark Knight Rises like 5 times already, and I saw it like 5 times in a span of a week. So that's probably up there already, to be completely honest with you. The Avengers is also another brand new or newer one that I saw a bunch of times, and I'd go see it right now if I could. So those 2 are definitely some ones. I'm looking over there. I mean, Star Wars movies, those are, awesome. But then movies like The Hangover, it's weird. The Hangover is one of those things where when I first saw it, it was one of the movies, I'm never going to get sick of this. I started to get sick of it in the sense that, like, I don't, think, I want to watch The Hangover. But if it's on, I'll watch it and I'll still laugh. So it's confusing. But those are just some of the ones. And another basketball question. I love you guys. Basketball and wrestling is, like, my situation. If LeBron was going to leave Miami, don't say that. Don't say that. Do you want to know why you can't say that? Let's take a little pause here. Hold on. We're going to take a pause from the Q&A. If LeBron were to leave, what would I do with this little standee thing? That's Dwayne Wade autograph. No big deal. Don't ask questions. What would I do with this picture? What would I do with this big framed picture? you know. But then you're like, oh, it's not bad. But what would I do with this guy? This is a 6'9" LeBron James full-side championship fathead. If he leaves Miami, sure, I'll keep it up. You know how disgusted I'm going to be looking at this? Come on. Anyways, back to the action. As you can see, I only get fads when my teams win the championship. Ha! Had a good year. But anyways, back to the action. If LeBron James had to leave, we're playing had to. I say I'll answer all questions. And you said go Pacers. So I'm guessing you want him to go to the Pacers. I would not want him to go to the Pacers. I would have him in the Western Conference, away from the Heat, because he is a baller. He is a gangster. Why would I want him anywhere near the Miami Heat? I'm gonna go with. Oh my goodness, where do I want him to go? Where is the least amount of talent that he will not lead to anything? Hold on, let me get buckets. Boom. Where do I want LeBron to go if he had to leave Miami? Oh man, I don't want him to go anywhere. This is sad. Send him back to Cleveland. If he didn't want to be in Miami, send him back there because they'll accept him and they'll look like idiots. So do that. Not to the Pacers because the Pacers gave the Heat a run for their money while the Heat had LeBron. So if you switch that, game over. So let's not do that. Mr. Awesome Sauce. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Would you rather take 10 Ric Flair chops to the face and not be able to do anything back, or happen to listen to Only Friday by Rebecca Black on repeat for 10 days straight, all day, everywhere? 10 Ric Flair chops immediately. Because the thing is, 10 Ric Flair chops to the face are going to hurt. They're going to hurt. But if I had to listen to Rebecca Black Friday for 10 days straight, all day, every day, I would want to Ric Flair chop my face, like myself in the face, all day, every day. So Ric Flair chops do not cause me to listen to Rebecca Black, but listening to Rebecca Black causes Ric Flair chops. Science. Remember that. Glizaruri, 19. Who would you push, job, and fire out of these three? Let's put on the GM hat. Alright, so push, job, fire. Alex Riley, Jack Swagger, Tyson Kidd. I'm pushing Alex Riley immediately. So that means job and fire. I like Tyson Kidd more than I like Jack Swagger. So, with my crazy logic, I'm going to job Jack Swagger and fire Tyson Kidd so that Tyson Kidd can move on to TNA or something and, be featured as he deserves. Because if I job Tyson Kidd, that's not really doing much because he's being jobbed out. But if I fire him, maybe he can go to TNA and do some cool things. That's my logic there. But definitely pushing Alex Riley. All right. Whoa. How dare. Whoa. Hold on real quick. What happened? I don't know what happened. But anyways. Where are we at? Okay, the Legend X 1984. If Hulk Hogan, 80s and 90s, and John Cena of today switched eras, which would be more successful? Okay, so Hogan now or Cena in the 80s and 90s? Well, obviously, Hulk Hogan is better than John Cena. I'm just kidding. I don't really care for either of these guys. I like Hulk Hogan because, I was real young when he was, real young. So, like, when I first seen him, I was a little guy. Like, even highlights of him, I was just little because I wasn't alive for a lot of it. So, switch eras. So, Cena back then or Hogan now. Oh, man. It's easy to say Hogan now because in our heads we think of Hogan and how much he got the crowd into it. But would he be able to get the crowd into it now? Because back then it was when this is real. There's no thought in our head. This is real. To where now it's like, oh, well, this is pretend fighting and all that stuff. So can Hogan get the crowd as into it as he did back then? And then now Cena, I think Cena would be better back then himself. I don't think he'd be like the top guy, but I don't know. More successful? I would say Hogan more successful if that's the parameters of the question. Hogan. Let's see. feel like I'm skipping a question here, but I don't know what happened. Sweet Latte 18. Are you going to watch the Olympics 2012? Yes, I have been. What's your favorite event to watch? I watch basketball, obviously. I watch women's soccer because my girl Hope Solo and Alex Morgan are on the squad, and they just say, ah. I watch swimming, Michael Phelps and Ryan Lochte, homeboys. I watched the women's gymnastics. I watched your girl Jordan Weber. I watched your girl Gabby and Allie, and all those girls say, I'm about to get all around gold, and they're spinning and jumping. I'm like, what? So I've been watching that. That's about the events I watch. I did watch one tennis because it was Maria Sharapova. But other than that, those are about the things I watch. And I watched boxing one time. Man, I've been watching a lot of stuff. Not like thorough, but I'll be flipping channels and say, hey, look at that. Do you think WWE will ever have another invasion? Well, if Justin Bieber taught us anything, it's never say never. So I'm going to say maybe. If TNA, I don't know, someday. What's your favorite Rock movie? Whew. Now, you're going to think I'm crazy. I like most of them. But Journey 2 was a good time for what it was. Right? The Tooth Fairy was a cute movie. I mean, if I'm with little kids, I'm like, little kids, you watch this movie. This is a great movie. Teaches you life lessons. Don't be a jerk or you get turned into a dude in a tutu. Whatever. But Gridiron Gang. It's what it is. Anyways, what other sports do you like to see The Rock try? Every sport. Just like I'd like to see LeBron James get in some track events at the Olympics. My lord. Anyways, ZMS 506. How big do you think Ray Allen will be for the Heat? Probably pretty big. I mean, because Ray Allen is one of the best shooters of all time. And he is coming in to be only that. He doesn't have to be, they're not going to try to make him anything he's not. Ray Allen, he's getting up there in age. He's not a driver. He's not whatever. You just shoot the ball. That's going to be his job. He's got LeBron James, Dwayne Wade, Chris Bosh on the team. Those three, he's like the fourth guy. So I think it's going to be huge. Let me rephrase this. Ray Allen is your fourth option. Let that sink in. That's how huge I think he's going to be. Will Ferrell number 1. 1. Are you ever going to create a Tree of Woe Facebook page? Maybe. I might do it right after this video is over, actually. Everyone go on Facebook and search Tree of Woe Show after you're done watching this video. It may be up there. It may not be, but it may be up there. And do you agree with Vince Russo saying the wrestling business is dead and the WWE does not need 20 writers? Vince Russo, I'm kind of up and down about. I don't know if I believe. I don't know. I mean, I don't think it's dead because it's still going on, obviously, but I can see where he's coming from, where it doesn't need 20 writers, because if this guy has a really good idea, but this dipshit doesn't like it or something, then it gets into like, I win, and then it goes, where did I get this string? Someone, go back in the video and try to find where I pick up this string. Put the timestamp in the bottom. What the hell happened? Anyways. I totally just got befuddled and why I got a Paranormal Activity string in my hand out of nowhere. But I guess, yes, I do agree they don't need 20 writers because it could cause a lot of, dumb stuff. J Miners 1234. Do you expect there to be a draft this year, and who do you think should beat R-Truth and Code for the tag titles? Second question first. PTP primetime players, because Titus O'Neil is unstoppable like Kobe Bryant in a Colorado hotel room. Primetime players. And do you expect there to be a draft this year? I really don't. I mean, everyone's on every show now. It's already like there kind of was a draft. Everyone's everywhere, so I don't think so. CM Punk 72-390. I have 2 questions. How would you feel if it was Jericho versus Cena in a You're Fired match and who would win? That already was a match, and I watched it, and I'm pretty sure, as the first one, John Cena would win, because there's no way John Cena's getting fired. So I believe it would be John Cena and Jericho would get fired, and he would go out for real this time. He would love to get Cena to get fired, but hey, I don't see it happening, man. But it could happen. And what's better, MVP Lounge, Highlight Reel, or the Peep Show? I say MVP Lounge. I say Highlight Reel because I like Chris Jericho the best out of those three, so that's just kind of how it works. And there's been rumors that Batista may return to WWE action. How do you feel about that? Trust me, while Raw was down, in my head I thought, but what if Batista comes back? That's why I was watching. Even though it made no sense. Why did I just have a sock in my hand? What is going on here? I need to stop freaking out. I all of a sudden have a sock in my hand. There's a string appearing. I'm just going to, right here, hands here. Anyways, I would love if Batista came back. Hands in the face. I would love it. Love it. And last question. Orton Straight Brother. If John Cena will not be in the title picture, how would you book him, and who should he face at WrestleMania if not for the title? In my opinion, there's not a lot of things you can do with John Cena at this point. I would Andrew Bynum. You should go to the Magic because I just talked about that. If John Cena will not be inside the picture, let's see. I think I would book him kind of like where he like falls off a little bit to where he starts losing some matches. I know, crazy. He starts losing some matches clean, and it kind of forces his character to be like, hey, I can't just be doing the same old stuff all the time. I need to push it to the next level, and then either split off to where, after losing a bunch, he just like finds some motivation, goes crazy, and starts winning again after a bunch of roadblocks. Or you go the other way with it if it ever is time and it ever becomes ready to where there's other guys that can step up and make it that thing where he loses and loses and he needs to try harder, but even when he tries harder, he can't. It's like the Dark Knight Rises where he climbs, but he can't. And instead of overcoming it finally for once in his life, he does not rise above hate. He doesn't get over it. He just can't seem to win as hard as he tries, so he turns heel and uses some shifty things to get some victories. That's how I would do it. And who should he face at Mania if not for the title? You know what? A lot of people might not like this, and I understand. But at some point, it has to happen. It has to happen. John Cena versus Randy Orton. Whoever's a heel, who's a face, I don't care. I know we've seen it a lot. I know it's happened a lot. But it needs to be a singles WrestleMania match. They fought at WrestleMania, triple threat. The game. But just where those two are and what they were for so many years. Now, Orton's there's guys coming up. But I think we need to see it at WrestleMania. Just one time, singles match. That would bolster the card, in my opinion. That's another one of those matches where it doesn't need a title. You have the title match, you have the other title match, you have just boom, just those two, just fighting, That's what I want to see at WrestleMania still. So that's what I want Cena to be doing. Or Undertaker. But that's all for the Tree of Woe Show Q&A 29. Write your questions below, like this video, subscribe above. I will see you on Monday. LeBron James, spin the hat. Please tell me how I got that string in my hand.